Welcome to the Guest House Podcast. I'm your host, Isabella.
And I'm your co-host, Sophie.
We're going to be talking all things wellness and entrepreneurship.
We have been fortunate to have met empowered individuals who have shared their wisdom with us.
And we're just so excited to take you on this journey with us.
Step into your power.
Welcome to the Guest House Podcast, introducing my good friend, Keaton, who's originally from Vancouver, and we're filming here in Vancouver. Keaton actually moved to LA in 2010 to pursue acting and filming. He has 3 degrees, a BFA in filming, MFA in screenwriting, and MFA in acting for film. Keaton, I didn't know you were smart too.
La-di-da.
Okay, we're learning something new about you every day. Keaton has a background in competitive tap dancing. Guys, I've known Keaton for years, and every time I introduce him, like, he's third in the world in tap dancing with his brother, and he's like, can you please stop, Isabella? But I'm just so proud of him and all his accomplishments and what he's done at such a young age, but what he continues to do. So he actually came back in 2018 to study acting and workshop in Toronto, Ontario, in Canada, where we're from. But I think what I'm excited about to talk about is your new journey in acting and what you're pursuing and a little bit about yourself. And I'm going to try my best to act like I know nothing about you so that everyone can know your whole life story. So
beautiful.
Let's
Thank
take
you for
it
having
away.
me. Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast, Keaton.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Okay. So don't get nervous, Keaton. I know you get nervous. I know you don't, you're not good in front of the camera.
Blowing my spot up.
So first
Okay.
question. Where did you grow up and how did your upbringing influence your creativity?
Well, I was born here in Vancouver. I used to do impressions of all of my family members. So I would grab my grandfather's cane and I would go across the room pretend to be geriatric and old. And that would get them going. I was like, oh, I can provide joy from imitating people. So I became really annoying, really young, and then realized that I actually derive a lot of pleasure from influencing people in a positive way. So that was implanted very young, but I didn't pursue acting in a real way until I was about 25. Between then, I studied so many different sections of the industry, like screenwriting. I was a grip. I was...
What's a grip?
Grip, like a person who carries the C-stands, who ranges sandbags, whose job is just move equipment from point A to point B.
So you know pretty much every step in the industry. That's amazing.
Dolly grip, script supervisor, assistant director. I've been the sound guy. I've been a mixer. I've edited. I've done almost every job possible.
And do you feel like it gave you more depth now as you're acting? Do you feel like it gave you a more holistic vision of the job?
I think everyone should try every aspect they can, or that they at least are available to do so, because it gives you a sense of humility and a sense of I'm not better than that job, or also I can't even complete this job without that person here helping me, dressing me, making me look good in both the edit and on the film. It's
sound editing and just all of the manual labor that goes with it.
Yes.
So it gives you a bigger and better appreciation for it.
Yeah. Why be a dick to anybody? It's just not helpful. Everyone is trying to create this product in the end, and we're all working together. So it gave me a sense of, what's a good word for it? Cohesion, I guess.
I love that. I want to take it back to, I want to know more about all that, how you got influence, your creativity, but let's take it back to your family and your upbringing. And first of all, you have the most amazing mother in the entire world, who I can call one of my best friends and mentors. But, she is obviously a big inspiration to all of us and all of her beautiful kids. But, your upbringing is so unique and creative. And also you have such a wonderful, diverse family. So how did that... Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and touch on your family and really how that's influenced you as an actor and a creative.
My mom is a very, very creative person. She's always thought of life in terms of how she could have the most enjoyment and fun. And you know
that's
her
Anne.
personally.
If anyone knows Anne, she can walk into a room and light it up and just make you feel so special. But also her humor, you have to get it, because I'm in a room and she makes the funniest jokes and everyone's like, I don't get it. I'm like, that's a you problem, because it is so funny. It's too good. But she's amazing.
Yeah. So she taught me that kind of like, I don't know, way of, I guess, spiritual generosity in life.
That's a really good word.
Yes.
Spiritual generosity.
Yes.
Yeah. Like there's so much that I can't control in any room, but I can at least like bring in a sense of, I don't know, joy and like something that I can keep inside myself, no matter where I go. And she taught me that. And then all my other siblings are all creative in their own right. Like two of them are musicians. My brother Barrett is a filmmaker. We'll be talking about him soon. And we all kind of chose a section, not intentionally, but I became an actor and Barrett became a filmmaker. Molly became a musician. My brother Luke became a musician. My sister Gabby became a graphic artist. Like we all kind of needed some form of expression.
And Chase is going to be your manager. He's going to be the wealth business manager of all of you guys.
Exactly.
It's so good.
And he's very creative in his own right.
He is.
He makes a lot of films that he edits on his own, and extremely creative. Very like, just, it seems like every sibling has found a way to be like, oh, this is like my piece of earth. This is what I'm creating. And this is the medium I'm doing it on. We all have our own thing.
So do you feel like pretty much being at home in such a creative environment, this is what really fostered everybody in the family having their own piece of creativity?
Yes. We kind of all had our own schedules growing up. Like I had to figure out how to make dinner for myself because we never really had no kid was in the house at the same time. So we all figured out ways in which we can entertain ourselves, I guess. And each one of us picked something different. I picked physically entertaining people. My sister picked the banjo and the guitar, and Barrett picked editing and film, you know.
You ended up winning tap dancing.
Third in the world.
You know, it's like as a duo too, right? Did you have accomplishment alone as well in tap dancing, or was it just as a duo?
It's interesting you're asking that now because Barrett and I have made 2 films together, and our largest accomplishment was together as well in duets. We came third in the world when I was 11, he was 12. And we went again and we became, what were we? We were like 14th, 13th in the world the second time because there was more countries. And he did solos on his own and he came 5th, I believe, in solos. He did Black Betty by Ram.
Shout out Barrett.
Yeah, we did Get Up Off of That Thing by James Brown.
So was it just you guys playing around, or was there a lot of extra work? It started as just playing around, and then there was a lot of extra work, and maybe your mom supported this and putting you in special programs. Talk to us a bit more about the process. How do you become third in the world as a duet in tap dancing? Like I've never come across anyone like you, or anyone in your family, as a matter of fact.
Great question. Yeah. There was a ton of work. We were in a tap group and we were tap dancing hours a day. Like there was a ton, like we had a whole scheduled routine where we had to be at every single tutor or place at a specific time as very, very, very young. The play came later in life. It came in my late 20s and 30s when I started to realize, this isn't normal, and people are like entertained by this, but to me it was just day in, day out.
Yeah, because even the way you're speaking about it is just like, we're just all at home, we're all creatives. But I think people listening to this would like to understand the amount of work, sacrifice, engagement, even, on your parents' side as well. It's a lot of work to just take all the kids and making sure they go with all the tutors. And so it's really interesting.
Well, they found a way to automate it, I think, to make it so that we're not even thinking about, we have to make sure we get there, because after a certain point, you're week in, week out doing the same thing over and over and over without thinking about how you're doing it. Eventually it becomes a habit, then becomes a lifestyle. And then I'm not thinking about, it's taken me 8,000 hours to learn how to to do this.
Do you feel like having parents who have such a strong work ethic and have so many different, are in tapping into so many different things all the time, has that shaped your work ethic and shaped, your, I guess, even with my parents too, it's always like, I need to do better and I need to get to the next step, or like, I want to, make them proud, but I also like, I want to have a strong work ethic because I see how hard they work. Or has that shaped you, or do you have resentment with that? Or do you feel like, no, it's something that actually has made you who you are?
It's made me who I am for sure. Like when I get onto a film set and I know it's my time to do my job, no matter what, I have this thing inside me that's like, you're going to do it.
You know what's funny? I always joke around about like how Keaton is so silly. He's just funny. He's like, he's always like just like nonchalant, doesn't care. He's like this spiritual hippie. But like when it comes to work, you don't mess around. Like you're so serious. You turn, and I'm like that too. But I'm not like I think I'm more
Actually,
known.
You're both very similar. You're both like very free spirits, but you're some of the most reliable people I know on this planet. But I know I can call each of you at any time of the day. Whatever I need anywhere in the world. You're both very reliable, and you hold yourself accountable to really high standards.
Yeah, but I guess I'm like known for being more like the businesswoman, or like being in that, where like if you didn't really know you're just like this free spirited guy, and like you're an actor or you're a creative. But then like I know, and I always have conversations with you, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Keaton, I can't. Like something is so important, or your birthday that I miss, and you're like, work comes first, Isabella. No, work comes first. Or you're always like, nope, go do your job. No, are you sure you're not going to be late? Are you sure? And I'm like, I keep noticing these little things, and I'm like, you don't mess around when it comes to that, and it shows in your results and your work ethic.
Well, so that we can actually work together and do fun, it becomes fun, and you're not worrying about the person simply just showing up, because then you can actually just drop your guard. Whereas if you're always worrying if someone's going to be good with their word, or actually wake up on time and show up and on their mark, then you can't drop your guard, and you can't be a good boss to them or a good co-leader or whatever position you're in. And then you lose the integrity of the set, and then people lose trust in you, and then the fun-loving, free-spirited guy that you want to know is being questioned. And then all I'm doing is overcompensating, which I see so much of in LA. And I was just like, I'll never be that guy.
Tell us a little bit about LA, because, I know that you spent your fair share of time in LA, and I know I still work there. I still have so many friends there. But I think there was times when I guess it gave you maybe not a negative, but a perspective of work ethic or individuals or trust, or finding out who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I say this often, but LA is kind of like, if you look for your tribe, you will find them. But it's more about what you are versus who you are when you first meet people. It's like, oh, what have you been in? What have you done?
Exactly.
How can you help me in my journey to climb up the ladder?
Yep. I feel that.
I moved back to Toronto, and I started to interact with people differently, and it was very healing for me. But now I'm in a position where I actually want to return, because I don't need the same sense of validation for someone to be like, oh, I also want to get to know the real you, because I have a lot of close friends friendships I've built that I'm like, I feel pretty seen in that way, and I can lean into the more advantageous part of being in a bigger ocean than Toronto, which was LA. Toronto's a pond. LA really is the whole ocean of opportunity.
No, I feel that. LA was one of those, and still is, especially when you're younger, you don't know who to trust or who wants you for the wrong reasons. And also you want to, be who you are. And I think you can understand that as well, with traveling with work and living in New York or whatever. It's sometimes it's a shitty feeling, you don't know who is who and what their intentions are. But now when you're confident and know who you are and know what you bring, doesn't matter if you go to LA, you go to Shanghai, you go to New York, you go to Toronto, it doesn't matter, because you will find the people that you feel closest with and you're connected with in the right way.
Exactly.
But even as far as you mentioned finding your tribe, but it looks like you already have your tribe. You always talk about working with your brother.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the family unit, I understand what you're saying. There's a really wide spectrum of how bad it can be on people wanting you for what you can bring to the table as opposed to who you really are. But it also can be so healing and beautiful, the artistic expression of just being an actor or any form of artistry that you can perform. So talk to us about that other side, you know, the side where you work with your close friends and your family. And I mean, with Isabella, we went to one of your movie premieres. It was so amazing. Everybody was clapping in the room and it was incredible. So please talk to us more about that.
Well, I view it kind of like a washing machine a little bit, whereas all the variables are much more known to me because I'm working with my brother, and we can be more honest with each other than as if I was working with someone who just hired me outright. So there's a bit more of a shorthand, and so the washing machine I'm referring to is more like I'm faced with very clear challenges that aren't muddied up by me wanting someone to like me or something. It's more like, oh, I need to meet the challenge of that scene, of rising to this occasion, and it's just me versus me now. And then whatever issues I have with my brother or with anyone else, I can actually work out in a much more, I think, way in which I'm much more grateful for, because I can just be honest. I can be like, oh, that's not working for me, or I don't like this. And then the experience I actually have is just me being like, oh, I could have been so much harder with anyone else, but with my brother, at least he could see that massively insecure side of me and just be like, okay.
Okay, but let's talk a little bit about like also your dynamic with your brother. Shout out Barrett, who's also like the good looking version of you. I'm kidding. They're both amazing. But Barrett is a dear friend, and also he's just extremely hardworking and talented, and he's so disciplined in his craft, and whatever he puts his mind to, he will perfect it, and he will not sleep until it's perfected. And
that's true.
You know, it's and he goes insane for the minute details of every aspect of that. So I think, do you guys have different work ethics? Is it hard to take direction from him, or he kind of is, you know, he's the director, he's the boss, he owns the film company. How is it working with family and working with your brother?
I'm so proud of him. I mean, I'm just so proud. I'm honored to be working with my brother. He has an ability to practice humility that is very, very rare, where he literally perfects like his storyboard, like the storyboards, like the all the camera shots all laid out in this huge document, and he memorizes it, and he knows exactly where everything is placed. But when he's on set, he has an ability to completely let go of these like months of prep, just to be like, this person has an idea that's better than what I came up with.
Yeah, that's Barrett.
And to recognize the gold that is in the moment that you can't manufacture ahead of time. And that, from my, experience on film sets, both with him and outside with different directors, like that is so rare to encounter someone who can just be like, you know what, you're offering me gold. And even though I prepared all this stuff, I can let that go because this present moment is so much more fun. And just watching him literally giggle like, like while he's on set. And I'm just like,
can you do an impression of Barrett?
Oh yeah, just Barrett kind of sounds like this, and he's going to hate me for this, but like, yeah, I'm just super excited about this film. You got to like compare no one knows who Barrett is or how he speaks. Or like, okay,
we need to insert Barrett into this here.
Well, we need to interview Barrett and Keaton together next time. How about that?
Yeah, we should have.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Yes. That's amazing banter.
He needs a shot at revenge.
But your impersonation of him is just, it's good.
No, Barrett. And like, no.
Barrett does me.
I love it. I think it's perfect.
He does me, and then he like raise his voice like this and like do me doing him.
And I'll be talking to Barrett. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, sorry, right now, guys, I can't talk because I'm going through spiritual warfare. And,
he's always like, I have so many emotions and I don't know how to deal with them all.
I'm just like, but it's your relationship as brothers is a beautiful story on its own, to be honest with you. And I think that's something that, a lot of people need to know and share about, because I think, it hasn't always been easy, and it hasn't always been roses and butterflies.
Well, we're a year apart. My brother and I are so close in age. We're mistaken for twins when we were growing up.
Yeah.
We were dressed the same. We look pretty similar.
Yeah.
So there's a natural rivalry growing up. But working together and doing these past 2 films, there's just something that happens when you have to show up to the same place over and over with the same person. Is either you go to the direction of
I was going to say
apart,
that it's one or the other,
or you're like, oh wow, our differences were not actual real differences, and that's what happened for us. Like we were just like, oh, you've secretly been my best friend this whole time.
Oh, that's
I've been treating you like my enemy. What have I been doing?
That's so nice. And that's always, quite frankly, that's always been the thing that I love the most about art. Mm-hmm. It's just like this special place where everyone can meet.
Yeah.
You know, you can meet and you can discover someone else through the lens of art that is so special. You don't know someone until you've shared a special artistic project with. And sometimes I feel like I know people that I've collaborated with in an art project better than I would know. Not you, Isa. Better than I would know my friends. No, it's okay. We collaborate all the time.
It's okay, guys. I'm not a creative. I run the business side of things. No problem. But no, I see it. I see people who are artistic and how they really connect with their art or their craft, whether it's art, film. You know, I have such respect for that in every way.
That's what I've predominantly learned from leaning into acting more in the past 7-8 years. For my studio, the Megici's Actors Practice, they taught one of the main things is just like whatever it is you're feeling in that moment is exactly you are enough as you are, and that where you go from there is enough. That's, you don't need to manufacture this other personality or this other thing to make you worthy of being in this room. And you know, approaching things through a lens of acting or through improv, or I've done clowning, is like when I actually am in those rooms with people who are given that permission slip to just approach human relationships differently, you see a side of them that, I mean, I've known people for 4, 5, 20 years I went to school with, and I'll get further with someone in 20 minutes doing some silly exercise in some room, you know?
So that's something that I actually wanted to touch on.
Yes,
because one day we had a conversation and you really opened my eyes on the craft. Because, you know, from the outside looking in, we may be thinking that acting, you know, is just you create a fake persona and then, you know, this is your job and that's it. But one day you told me that you thrive off the interaction with your public. And please talk to us more about this, because I find it fascinating. I think it's probably a deeper aspect of acting that no one really has the opportunity to know and discover until we talk to someone who's living it.
Well, I learned this even more in just my very, very brief clowning experience.
What's clowning? Like you're acting like a clown?
Well, no, not really. A clown.
Okay, this is me. Like
clown. There's red nose.
Do you know what clowning is?
Well, I would love to touch on
I thought you were
that.
saying like a little clown.
No, I thought you were just making fun of people.
No. No, I took literal.
Okay,
like I took a clowning.
I'm like, do we all know what clowning is?
No,
like I took a literal clowning intensive where one of the exercises was like I'll come out from behind a curtain, and if I make everyone in the room laugh, I get to step to the left. But if I bomb, I got to go closer back to the beginning. And so
that's nerve-wracking, no?
It's nerve-wracking, yeah. So it's like when you start to encounter that part of humanity where you're so afraid to just tank the room, right? That you're in it now, and then everyone can see your human experience of the desperation of needing this room's love. And then there's a whole other connection, because what we usually don't acknowledge, especially even in stand-up, right? Really good stand-up artists, you'll see this, but like if something bombs or doesn't work, you kind of just move on to the next joke. You pretend it didn't happen. But my greatest joy from that experience was seeing people who actually acknowledge, like, you guys aren't like me right now. And there's something like really everyone starts laughing and starting to be like, oh, they're actually acknowledging their own humanity right now and their own sense of desperation and failure and wanting our love. This is starting to be actually something that's a real human experience.
So that's when you start the dialogue.
Yes, well, there's another relationship where I'm acknowledging now that there's people in this room who are who are watching my experience. And then it becomes, oh, this guy is willing to acknowledge more than just, he's no longer afraid of breaking that wall. Whereas like, like that relationship is something that you can lean into as energy if that's what you want to do. I mean, everyone's different, but like when I get up and speak in front of anybody, I'm always nervous. I carry a lot of nerves with me, and I've been in a lot of audition rooms, and I've had a lot of imposter syndrome and a lot of sense of like, oh, I don't belong here, and my brain can come up with all sorts of reasons why I don't belong in any room. But to actually sit with that and to be honest about it, and then to allow that into your performance and what you're doing, will, instead of that energy being stifled, to be like, no, they must see how great I am. Instead be like, hey, like I have indigestion and I'm tired and I've didn't sleep well and I'm going through a breakup. It's like everyone else is like, me too, like in the audience. They're like, oh, thank you for acknowledging your humanity. And then you can actually start to really do work that I think is grounded and real, which is what we need now more than someone who's coming on stage perfect, whether the stage is in front of a camera or an actual stage is,
when I first met you, the following time we met, it was your birthday party, and you brought everything to tap dance and perform, and I saw a version of you that I have never seen ever again. And
oh no.
no, it was wonderful. Yeah. It was a different Keaton. First of all, your hair was blonde. Blonde Keaton is different. Oh yeah. But it was also
wasn't my favorite.
We know.
But
we'll press on with the nice things.
We're gonna put a picture of that on the screen so everyone can see what I'm talking about. No, you pulled it off. But I mean, I met you blonde anyways. We'll do a poll. But it was just the confidence that I saw when you were dancing. And after you said those words to me, I think it was when I first met you around that time. And I started really understanding and realizing that acting is actually one way of honoring how deep you are and just the wide array and variety of just which level you can go to. And yeah. I have discovered a lot of respect for that.
Well, thank you. It's, recently doing a film in England, I also discovered that my way is definitely not universal, that every actor, how I approach this with clowning thing and how I want some people are completely different, where it's just literally the best advice I've ever heard an actor give is whatever works to get you there, to get you to that place of what I believe be expansive.
Do you feel like in your field, in your industry, do you have more genuine and authentic people like yourself who want to honor the craft, or do you feel like it could be overly commercialized and inauthentic?
Definitely, it can go both ways. I've met so many incredible people, and I'm not even just saying that to give the good guy answer. Like this, there's been in this industry, there are so many people whose whatever flavor they're going for is they're all in service of the craft and in telling the story in the way they believe it's meant to be told. And I think there's so many beautiful people out there. I've also met people who are not in service of that and who are there for different reasons. And I don't know, like as long as I've got myself under wraps and like I'm good with myself and I'm not in judgment or like comparing myself or wondering if they're going to mess my performance up, which I think is also ego, then I'll be all right. As long as I got my lane taken care of, because you can fall in the trap of like wanting to help somebody, and which is actually the opposite of helping them in a scene. It's like the worst thing you can do is to just play nice.
Sounds like life advice.
Yeah. Like I think there's a difference between being nice and being kind. Like being nice is like
I agree.
Being small and like making sure that you don't step out of line or get in trouble.
Yeah.
Which actually makes movies, that's not really scenes people want to necessarily watch. Is an actor being like, I don't know if I should show myself because they're having a bad day or
I agree.
Yeah.
You can't make yourself small so you can make someone else feel big.
But you don't need to be unkind.
No,
which is a difference.
There's an approach to it. There's an
yeah.
approach to it, and I think not everyone has figured out how to do that in the most eloquent way. I think you have. I think you have all the spiritual work. You really do care about, and you've taught me this. You really do care about other people and their emotions and their feelings and how they're going to take it, how they're going to feel it. Where I'm very direct and say it to a point. And you're like, Bella, but you can't just say to them like that. I'm like, why? Like, because it wouldn't hurt my feelings. And they're like, yeah, well, there's a lot of internal work you need to do with that. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Even like when I talk to you about like my mom or whatever's happening, you give me the best advice because you're able to help me give an approach in a different way. Keaton, you need to try this coffee that's extracted from green coffee beans. I keep calling it tea because it tastes like tea. Try it. It's so amazing. Yeah. Your Wellness Vitality Improvement Project, YVIP, delicious.
It tastes so good. And it's green coffee bean extract, so you get all the benefits of chlorogenic acid, which is usually lost whenever you torrefy the coffee. But this time you get all the anti-inflammatory.
I've been using it, I think, for about 6 months now. It helps manage my weight.
Girl, you've never looked better.
Thank you. It helps manage my weight, stress levels, anti-inflammatory.
I think it reduces high blood pressure as well.
Blood pressure.
It regulates your metabolism as well. So you get all the health benefits from coffee, and you need a little bit of sweetness added onto it. Here's fructo-oligosaccharide. So it's a naturally occurring sugar in the fruit, but the form that it's under is pretty much absorbed really late in the colon. So as you're about to go to the bathroom,
take a little dabble of that.
Yeah, put some on. This is so good for an alternative for sugar. So if you want yogurt, if you want anything to add sugar, you put this as an alternative, and it's phenomenal.
I do my Greek yogurt and my granola every day with this.
Me too.
It tastes so good. Like, it actually has a taste of sugar. You don't get to absorb it in your stomach early on and get the calories.
YVIP. We're so excited for it to come to North America. Available on Amazon. I want to talk to you about, so I saw the movie The Last County. That was the film premiere that Sophie was talking about that we were at, which is an amazing film that I think everyone should go watch. But tell us a little bit about how you get into character for these films. That was an emotion. There's some heavy scenes. It's dark comedy. It's amazing, but there are some heavy scenes there. And watching you in that film, I just didn't think how, I was just so proud. I was like, oh my God, is he faking our friendship? Because this is so good. You could pretend. I'm never going to date an actor. I'll never know if he really loves me or not. He could be faking it the whole time. You're that good.
Keaton, I feel like this is the most amount of compliments you've ever heard from Isabella.
Just send me the recording for this.
I'm just staying on script, guys. I'm being told to say, no, I'm kidding. I mean it. It's amazing.
Well, the question is, how do I get into character? Everyone's process is different. I would say the past film I figured out I actually do have a process, and I was like, because I'm so scatterbrained that I'm like, I show up on my mark, I do my thing, and I do get into some sort of mind space. But I guess the one thing I do is I am pretty relentless with my standards of how I show up. So like, I've had bad takes. I've been bad, in my opinion, where I've been inauthentic or.
What is a bad take? Like you just feel like you're not.
Show up and then, and who am I to actually judge myself while I'm in it too?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's not helpful to me either, but it's still, I'm a human being and I'll have my own thoughts and opinions on the stuff that I do. And I'm like, I've had times where I do stuff and I'm like, that was crap. I didn't like that. And then I might be wrong, but I'm pretty relentless about being like, hey, can we try this differently? And in our first film, when we did all the stuff that was typically harder, I just was like asking for that extra take and being extra needy to make sure that I had exactly what I thought it needed. And it actually turned out all right, but that's not one size fits all. Like you could do that for every take, and for sure, I didn't need to do that at all, and I'm wasting everyone's time. Or I really did have more in the tank, but there's no way of me knowing that the night before or any of the catastrophizing I do, you just got to trust at some point that your humanity, my humanity, is exactly interesting enough for people to want to watch without me doing all this like magoo, like I'm entertaining stuff, you know, like just me and my own.
Did it? What
like, you know, like the window dressing. I don't know, but just who you are. What I'm saying, like who I am with the lack of sleep and all the stuff that actually happened to me. Wasn't more entertaining than me trying to put on this curated what I think people should see, which I often think is the ask every single day when you're in the arts, at least.
Well, I feel like this is just everybody in general, right? Even non-artists, we all know we have our own persona, the persona when we're at home with our family, and then what we show to the rest of the world.
Yes, absolutely. So like,
I don't know, mine's the same.
It's true.
Like I'm
well, you're a pretty straightforward person.
Yeah, there's
it's like what you see is what you get.
Yes.
Jinx.
Good one.
with actors though, when you said you can't tell, you know, if what's real and what's not. If anything, I would say that actors,
no, I really can't.
But I did want to comment on that because I do think actors get the opportunity to tell you the actual truth in any situation. When people watch movie or shows like The White Lotus, because you get people telling the truth to a point where people be like, I would never speak that way.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean in that? Like when you say, when you mean like when they're
okay, because I'm very passionate about this.
No, say it. So I love this. Like,
so in any circumstance, right? We're in a breakup, right?
Okay.
And I'm like talking.
Hey, break up with me right now.
I'd be like, hey, it's not you, it's me.
I'm it's definitely you, but okay.
I'm just feeling like I really need to focus on myself lately, and
wait, are you saying you're acting right now, like you're pretending, or you're
I'm telling you how a person would probably break up with you in real life.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, he's trying to find the most cliche.
Exactly. Just ways to not commit to whatever the actual truth is. We lie more than you would see in an actual dramatic. Because the dramatic thing is that we're actually just saying the truth of how we feel to each other, but it's not normal, so it's acting. So then you question it.
It's a hot take, actually. I agree with you.
Yeah. Like actors get a chance to actually tell you the real subtext that we all know, because we're all human. We all have to interact with each other every day. So we know, I'm like, oh, you're actually not telling me the truth, but I'm not willing to call you out for it because that would be uncomfortable.
No, that's...
So I'm not going to.
No,
but we both know the subtextual truth. But actors get a chance to practice a whole nother level of humiliation where we're like willingly embarrassing ourselves and being fools so that you can have the actual experience of two people being truthful without being worried about the consequences of said truth. And then it's taped into 100 takes, different angles, and yes, it becomes this whole character who doesn't speak like I normally do, but we're already faking every day, all the time.
But it's something that you can feel when you meet people too.
That was Keaton, that's the most profound thing I think you've ever said.
And I mean, you've said some pretty profound things.
Oh my God.
No, but it's true, actually, because, you know, from the outside looking in, you always think that acting could be a disingenuous job, you know, inauthentic, or just, you know, you have to act, you know, I've always said like I could never be anyone else but myself. But I'm also finding as life goes on, you know, I am a different person in front of my son, I'm a different person in front of my best friends, I'm a different person in front of my parents. So there are layers, and it's not about being inauthentic to yourself, but on the contrary, about exploring the different levels and layers in your personality and giving room and honoring that space, which we don't really have a lot of room for in today's society.
What if you did? What if you spent the whole day just being entirely truthful?
I am.
It would be, I mean...
No, because like you know how you have like your son, your family. No, I'm the same. Like, and you guys,
I could take that a level deeper. But
do it.
If you want
do it right now.
People know you on a level that you're very straightforward and you can be very blunt. But if you took the other thing where you're like, I wonder if I shared things about myself.
We're gonna cut that one out. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I'm just saying. Everyone has got a way of showing up.
Because
people are used to. I mean, everyone's used to this persona that I've introduced, right? And if I started being like, I'm actually really sad and broken. No, that would be
but this is
a whole new level of vulnerability, right?
No, you're right. No, but you're right in a sense. No, what I mean is that like the way I act in front of my friends or my mom or my work, I'm the same person. But I must.
If you brought a different sense, people would be like, "Who are you right now?
Yeah,
You're not
but
being Isabella, but
I
you
just
are.
don't
You're
think
just-
it's fair for me to show that deep level of
Sure.
vulnerability to
Yeah.
someone who hasn't earned it. And you have seen that side of me because you have made me feel safe and created
Of course.
a space for
Yes.
me to be like, Keaton, I could talk to you about things that deep in my soul bother me, or like you bring it out in me, and we've had our moments together like that, and we've, you know, I've cried and I've had like and I'm not afraid to say it because you've earned that trust.
Yes.
And that's not me saying I'm a different person, different level, and that's a different hot take, because for me, I am who I am with everyone, but you have to earn that level of space with me.
Yeah.
And when I say, you know, your spirituality, you give me that place to be safe. And when we talk about those things, that's why it's okay you bring it up, because it's a sense of you've earned that space for me to say, I can be myself. This guy's not going to judge me. And I don't have a lot of friends in my life that I can do that with. And I thank you for that. But at the same time, I'm not being fake. I just you haven't earned that space in my life.
Yeah. So imagine doing that and then putting that on camera over and over.
I couldn't. I could never.
For a story though, you get
so
to be
much.
like you're in a story.
Yeah.
So you're like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm targeting this part of myself that feels so naked and humiliating. But like that's the ask.
Yeah. Now I get it. Now I get it.
But like, you know, there's different ways to make me seem not like the Keaton, you know, with the how I
Yeah,
talk and how I
yeah.
carry myself and makeup and whatever. But it is me. Just like you were saying, that part of that someone has to earn. It's still you. It's just the people in the room who are receiving that you are not privy to that part
No,
of
I
you,
get
nor
that.
have they like earned it.
You made
But,
me.
like,
You made me see it at a different lens for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, so like
Because it exists.
it exists.
Yes.
Exactly. It exists in some form, in some sense of privacy, sure, but we all have it. It's just what we're willing to actually show and why we'll show it and what we justify is the limitation. And,
I mean,
you know,
thank God I'm not trying to have everybody's
yeah, that'd be
whole
exhausting.
depth. Exactly. I don't have the bandwidth.
I don't think to be constantly vulnerable is not, I don't think the way to go either. It's just you start to, I refer to it as a washing machine because you kind of go through the sense of like what's useful, what's not, and then how much is really being asked of me, and how much what's new for me that's happening is like how much of my dignity am I maintaining, and like is this something I'm willing to actually suffer for, or is this suffering for suffering's sake? Because that's how I used to produce art. Now it's like, can I actually have deep joy and enjoy this and be vulnerable and not feel like I just went through, you know, like this harrowing experience to find the art in myself? Because I think that's, I don't know, that could really destroy somebody.
What do you think your life would be like without?
Without the art?
Yes.
The expression?
Yes.
Empty, honestly. I think music and acting and dance has kept me like alive, vivacious, vibrant. It's made me something that I'm entertained by, rather than I feel like I had different life paths. I could have taken a path towards law, or went to an all boys private school. Like I was on the rowing team. I could have, if I cared about it, I could have taken a different path, but it never held water for me. I never was like,
I see what you said.
yeah, I just, I never could see myself in a cubicle or doing the same thing every single day. I just couldn't justify that to myself. I would rather suffer for expression than, I guess, just for menial.
So do you feel like every movie that you do, every performance that you make, do you feel like you're leaving people with a message? Is there a common thread, a common theme? The same way that I assume Barrett, for example, when he's writing his movies, do you feel like in your performances there is a common thread, like a message that you're trying to leave on?
Since our last two films were comedic, and honestly, a lot of people die in the films, so they're kind of like action and a lot of like explosions and stuff like that. So I think our goal mainly is to like give the best, most entertaining, like also thought out, like deep characters, to give like this slice of life where you can relate to the characters, but you can also just have a really good time watching it. Like most of the scenes we filmed, we're approaching it as actors. We're just like, there's a moment here to make funny, or there's a moment here, there's a joke here, there's that there. And I mean, I just kind of look at it in a way of like, how can I make this scene and also the more overarching story the most entertaining with my part in it, I guess. That's how I viewed these projects. Everyone's different. Like when there's comedy involved, I think there's a different ask. There's a heightened sense of stakes that's a little different from just pure drama. Depends on the project, honestly.
Well, you have a movie coming up with your brother Barrett. Let's talk about this project, talk about the film. I know it's so top secret and there's a lot that you can't talk about. So I'm so glad that you're on our podcast first to talk about, what you can. So you feel special. Thank you for joining the guest house for this. But what was the hand? What was that?
It was like spirit fingers. I don't move my hands a lot. I'm usually just stuck here like...
So tell us, because I was on set in England for this project. I saw you doing your fight scenes. I saw Barrett in action himself. It's such a phenomenal project and some amazing creatives that are a part of this project. So tell us about it.
We shot it in England over the course of 3.5 months, which amounted to 42 days of shooting. 5-day work weeks, 9 weeks of shooting. It was a lot of stunts. There was a lot of people dying, like a lot of people die in this movie. I can't spoil almost anything, but I'm trying to give you so much
death.
There's a lot of death, which is something we can be excited about.
In a really unique way.
Yes.
That I didn't think I would like, but he sent me some clips and I'm like, wow, I didn't think you could do this and without me saying too much too.
It's when we were writing it, it was like, what deaths can we throw in there? Like
why did you guys?
I don't know. Maybe it's our dark sense of humor. I mean Barrett. I'm going to blame him for
it's Barrett's sense of humor.
Because I have a lighter sense than he does. He was like, oh, what if we just light someone on fire? Never done that. We're like, hey, what if we throw this person down the stairs? And he's a great person. I'm not saying anything, but like, just like, because
first of all, he loves pranking everyone.
Yeah.
He loves just like finding joy in your misery. Like
growing up can attest to that.
And you can attest to that. And I can attest to that just going anywhere. I'm like, I have to be careful at all times because I know the look on Barrett's face when he has done something and he's up to no good. I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, nothing at all. Nothing.
Yeah,
like,
no. Nothing at all.
Yeah. And I'm like, Barrett, just don't, So
I feel like we're building the ground for the next interview so well.
And he's just going to be like this, oh, hey, yeah, no, it's just like, this guy likes to kill people like, in films.
No, it's exciting. The film's exciting, though.
Yeah, it was like watching a kid in a candy shop. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Barrett got to know his production team very well because he had like his own space with them. So there was like the DP and the AD and like all of like the behind camera people. And then I trained with the stunt people a lot. So like I would work out with them. And,
I saw that.
And go through the stunts with them. And that's how I passed my time. So I really got to know them, and they're just like a unit. They're a cohesive unit where safety's first, and then they're just like giant kids who are willing to like jump off of buildings and do crazy stuff that I'm just like, is he alive? And he's like folding boxes, and I'm like, you just jumped off a building, dude. They're like, are you ready for take 2? And I'm like,
and everyone has these cool accents. It was so good. But also, like, I saw your fight scene that you were doing, you were training for, and I was like, ooh, Keaton, all right. Like, I didn't see you like, but you were like, so like.
So I had more of a macho beginning to that, and I was heavier than they wanted me to be. They had me lose 10 pounds of muscle, and it was my choice to grow my hair out really long. To give more of this like
No,
nerdier
it was a good look. It was a good look.
Because I own a comic book store in the movie. And yeah, I'm the only non-British person. I'm an American in the film. So not only in the film, but also on the actual set, there was me and 2 other Americans, producers and the DP, and then one woman who was from Boston, and then everyone was British. So I got to know like how much people love tea and talking about the weather every morning. Like, yeah, okay, it's like cold outside. I'm like, yeah, it's 6 a.m. on Monday. Let's talk about that.
Isabella, did you show up with your British accent?
No, I was like, hello, darling, how are you? And they're like, stop right now.
They know
like,
right
just
away.
Please stop.
They said I got better at the
We
end.
actually went to London to visit your mom,
Oh, you did?
and everyone that she was meeting for 3 days, she was like, hello, cheerio.
Hello.
I don't care. I love it. I love
For
it.
3
And
days.
no.
3
You
days.
sound like Adele.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Cheers.
So, Keaton.
Yeah.
There's always a deeper message behind great films.
Sure.
What do you hope the audience walks away after watching this one? And what do you want them to know about, whether it's you as a character, the film, your brother? What do you want people to know about this film, and how do you want them to feel walking away after watching it?
I want them to laugh a lot.
Okay.
I want them to
After all
laugh
the death scenes?
laugh at me. I want them to think I'm kind of an idiot. I want them to just see how, like, if someone finishes this film, I want them to be like, wow, these guys just really want me to have a good time. Because that's like across the board, everyone who made this film, the energy on set was always like, we're having so much fun. Of course, it was like, there's stress and there's problems. Like, no set is free of those, but like, it was just like, I can't believe we get to make this. I can't believe we get to like dress up like this and, play, just kill each other and have this like blood everywhere and like this sense of like harrowing doom. And then you get off set and everyone's just drinking their teas like, yeah, okay, you're having fun. And then you go on set and you're like, it's just, just so much variance.
It's such a big kid. Like,
and I wake up and I'm like, I get maybe 4 hours of sleep and I wake up and I'm like, oh man. And then I actually get on set and I'm in my costume and I'm covered in blood or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm being paid to do this. Most people, have a far worse, day to day than like getting to be an adult play person.
Yeah, you're lucky to be living your dream.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, very grateful.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the film. We've talked a little bit about you. We have a couple more questions, but I really want to know. I kept touching on spirituality. What does spirituality mean to you, and how did you tap into that side of spirituality or that side of you, and how has that shaped you as a person? Because it's probably my favorite thing about you. I think that we talk about so many different angles about you, and I joke around about how you're sensitive and this and that, which. It's a little annoying sometimes, but it's my favorite part about you too.
Spiritually, I don't know, because I'm being frightfully honest. I've struggled with that throughout my life. Like as a boy, I was really, I understood the concept of mortality very, very young. I remember when I was like 6 years old, my mom had told me like, I'm going to die one day. And I remember just crying and crying and crying, just being like, just understanding that there's someone who I love very deeply. And then eventually she or I will not be anymore.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Because you're saying that, do you remember when we were in Vegas and we were sitting in the sauna with your dad and with Barrett, and then we were talking about how right now, because your dad's in the medical field, and we were talking about how eventually everyone can live forever and you can keep your brain and you can like,
I don't want that.
And you're like, and Barrett and you and your dad were like, yeah, of course. Like, this is so amazing. I love technology, advancement, and longevity. And you're like, we're supposed to die, guys. Like the whole point of life is knowing that there is an end.
If you want to put me in a little like goopy tube and like put my consciousness projected onto a TV, I will come back. I'll haunt you. Like, do not do that to me.
Guys,
like,
I think we need another session just for that.
Yeah. It's intense.
Because
Like-
it is a hot take.
Yeah,
This
like I
one
mean,
is-
that might even be controversial now. I'm weird to say for me to be
Yeah,
like, I
but-
don't want my
but it
to
was
be
just
AI
crazy.
consciousness.
It was. I want it. I do. I
I
love
have a
that.
very strong opinion where like when I'm dead, I'm dead. Like that's
Oh,
it.
it's a whole like altered carbon.
Like shoot me into the
thing.
ocean, maybe spread me along the coast of Vancouver, but like
Turn me into a diamond.
yeah, but don't make me a weird 130-year-old like I'm still alive.
I don't think that's what he was saying, but
entity, like-
I'm on the same page as your dad.
You know.
Whatever you can do to
Like
keep
I don't
mortality.
I don't have ideas so important that you need to recycle me. Like this is the one and done. You know.
No, I know. I love your take on that, but yeah.
And for my kids or potential kids, I don't want them to experience me disembodied, living forever when I should have been dead 40 years ago. That's horrible for them. So I, actually resent my parents for wanting to be in a weird cyborg, Mr. Burns glass case body. Cause then I'm like, then I have to like, then I got to experience you immortal. Like, how is that? What therapy exists for that? This is a whole new territory. Anyways, I digress.
No, but anyways, like Sophie
Spirituality.
said, that is a whole different conversation. But I agree with your dad on it. I love
Sure.
where technology is going. I love
To
that
each
stuff.
their own for this one.
But I get where you're coming from, and my mom's the same way as you. My brother's the same way as you, and I think you know that a little bit about that. But I'm completely different.
Yeah,
in that
I
sense.
understand both sides. I just strongly disagree.
No, fair. But so spirituality. I guess you said that your mom, you knew about mortality at such a young age. But how has it been? Just really understanding your feelings, your emotions, and I've
It's
seen that
been
tap into
hard.
acting.
It's like not the easiest thing to
See, this is what I love
assimilate
about
it.
you is I think for our audience is that especially as a male, you're so good at just being honest about what your feelings and who
It's
you
the
are.
only path, really. I mean, maybe I sound pretentious saying that, but I honestly, if there's two choices between being disingenuous and saying the thing I think people want to hear, and then just saying how my actual experience is, I mean, I would choose the one where I might look a bit like a fool. Fine, because like it wasn't easy to go to an all boys school and to have a sense of like a deep sensitivity, and I also wasn't alone. I was surrounded by other kids who felt similarly or isolated, or even were cool and accepted and still didn't feel connected particularly. But like the more I can just straight up say, yeah, this was my experience, the more people who might have the same struggles can just be like, yeah, me too. And selfishly, they can give me a sense that I'm not as alone as I thought I was too.
So everyone's talking about like Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni and everything that's going on. There's something that I connect with you and Justin Baldoni a bit about because you guys are both.
I know, literally not.
Oh, well, it's okay. You
Blake Lively did something, and then Justin's bad.
Not the controversy.
Okay.
More about how Justin Baldoni is a person, because he's so much like you, of really like tapping into like toxic masculinity.
Taurus rising.
I don't know what is he.
I'm just kidding.
But he's really and I think it's important for males like him and like you that are teaching other men and males it's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to talk about your emotions.
I think it's essential, actually.
Yeah.
It's you need to say like, hey, like I don't feel like I'm worthy of this. And then people be like, oh, I don't feel like I'm worthy of this either. Instead of me overcompensating and be like, hey, I'm going to actually pretend like I don't feel I do feel worthy, and then I'm going to buy this car and start dating this person, and then make these my friends, and then you're all going to see how worthy I am, and then everyone's exhausted. So,
at the risk of sounding a bit mundane, what advice would you have for young creators trying to make their way into the industry? Or even better, what was the best advice that was ever given to you that to this day you still keep on applying and maybe make it your own?
Someone cared. I think that was the most effective thing for me. Someone actually cared about me, like me, not just my process where I'm going to end up. I remember both my teacher, my coach at my studio, and one of my teachers in my acting program both looked at me in a way that they actually saw me and were asking me questions that actually they were concerned with my actual answer, not just, some blanket statement. And I don't even remember what was said. I just remember the way that person has looked at me and continues to look at me or has looked at me. And it made me feel like I matter and that my actual voice matters. And I can start to, it's a different sensation rather than someone being like, you're a great actor, you're great at this. It's more of like who I am deep down is of more concern, this unknown entity that someone sees even when I didn't. And that gave me more fuel. And it's so few and far between because I've had so many great teachers, but they've all tried to teach me more like what worked for them, how they've been taught. But to actually be given the level of care where someone sees me as something to be curious about, I mean, I hope to give that to more people because it's not a recipe or formula. It simply is that person was willing to be present enough on that day and they had a big enough heart to look at me and say, hey, like this person is worth my attention. And that you can't teach, put in a course. You're just lucky enough to encounter it if you do.
So just going back to the exchange,
yes,
pretty much. But
yes.
This time you're not bouncing it off the public. This time it's someone who's helping you, just like a one-on-one
And you never
exchange.
know when it's going to matter.
Yes.
You never know when being like that for somebody, whether it's at 8:30 on a Tuesday or whether it's at the graduation of your most important degree, you never know when someone can like really impart kindness.
Yeah, you can't put a system around it.
No, not at all.
Fair enough.
I mean, as much as I'd love to talk to you for the rest of the day, this was so good,
Yeah.
Keaton. Thank you so much for coming on the
Welcome.
Guest House. And I don't know, this was such a
enlightening,
Cool.
amazing time with you. We are so excited for everyone to get to know him better. A dear friend of ours, Keaton Kaplan, everyone at the Guest House. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Guest House podcast.
Like, share, subscribe, share with a friend. We're so excited to hear from you.